Hello everyone and welcome to a new tutorial on CloudCompare. Today I'm going to show you how to save your workspace with when you add different let's say point clouds and how to save all that. Before I mentioned in several tutorials that when you open multiple point clouds here in your DB3, you close them, you will lose them, but they have found a way that you can save them, all of them, and then when you come back will have all the information there for you with all the settings. And the second part of the video will focus on different display options and different ways to represent things and create visualizations that you can use for your reports, PowerPoints, slides, posters, or you can use it for example, creating diagrams and perspectives, etc. in Adobe InDesign, Photoshop, Illustrator, or any other software you want to use. So the first thing we're gonna do is just gonna open the one particular point cloud that we have. Um, then we're gonna open a second point cloud. So this is the first point cloud that we have. So the first thing we do usually is just to check here different methods of for display or views. So the top view, the side views, and then we have also the bottom view. And then that sort of axonometric view. Now, as you can see here, the points are difficult to distinguish. So we can use something called in the display called a shader. We can also turn on lights, custom lights for the sun, and then we can go to the shader and use different shader options, or you can find them here in your right side panel. The first one is the IDOM lighting. So in this case, you just create a shape or a shade around each point, and it makes more defined the shapes, and it's a very beautiful representation and very nice way to understand your clouds. If you turn it off, as you can see, it's completely different. The second one is the SSAO, which is called screen space ambient occlusion. As you can see, it's a bit blurry. So the EDL is fine. You can change the size of your points, and it will change the saturation of the space. And then the smaller it is, of course, and you have few points, you may need to cover them, increasing the size of the point. In this case, worked pretty well. And now you can open another point cloud, say in the trees, and just put last input as to translate into the same coordinate, and just do all. When it's added there, as you can see, it's added on top properly, and it's also using the EDL as a shading method for your whole visualization. Now, let's imagine you have done a segmentation or subsampling of the first point, and you subsample like this, I don't know, and then create a subsample of this point underneath. Look, as you can see, there is a subsample, and then you have done a segmentation based on classification, etc. And you want to save this viewport or this workspace. So what you have to do is just click on all the scans or clouds you want to save, and then you put save as a bin. You choose bin. Okay, so then you will put cloud entities. You can put any name you want. Okay, and then we save. So it's in progress, sorry, and then it's done. When it's done, we close it, and you're sure you want to quit before you close it, and then you lose the information. You have to start over again. If you don't want to start over again, what you do is you just open your bin, the one that we save, with the entities, and all the information will be there again. You just have to reset the visualization method, and that's it. You have all the bin here, and you can delete what you want or what you want to keep, etc. And that's a very useful way to keep your workspace. So now when you have done this, having said that, is we grab the one of the point clouds, and I want to show different display settings. And when you want to create a visualization, whatever is shown in the display viewport in this area, the black area, it's how it's going to be saved. Okay, so if If you want to change the background, it's possible. As you noticed, I'm not using the default background of CloudCompare. So where to change that? You can go to display and display settings, or you can go directly here to the left sidebar and click display settings, and you can change the color of the ambient, the specular and diffuse, the different default materials for points. You can change the color of the background as you see here, and you apply, and then if you don't like it, good. If you don't like it, you change it again. You can use a gradient like the default color of the background of CloudCompare. So we'll create always a gradient background between black and the color that you choose. If you choose blue, for example, to represent the sky, okay, it will do that. So be careful because the gaps of between the points will be filled with the background. So you need to be careful with the type of background that you want to choose. And another thing is, once you have chosen background, let's imagine white, you need to check if your points really, the color of your points really stand out or really match with that background. So you need to maybe recolor the points. For example, you grab these trees and then they don't look very good with they look very good with the black background, but not with the white. So what you have to do is, I always clone them, not to mess up with these things, and choose those ones, and then I will, let's say, recolor them. Okay, I will recolor them to a different type of green. Maybe this green works better. Okay, so you see the green works slightly better with this white background. So I recolor. Remember, the colors here are colors that are in RGB, but when you export it into the Sketchfab, it's a different type of filling. So again, in a Sketchfab, think if it's gonna be this and you're preparing for a Sketchfab, you need to think on what is the background that you're gonna use in a Sketchfab. So try to match the background in the Sketchfab with the background you're using here. If you're gonna export it for, let's say, you're going to use this for a publication and you're going to create a poster, then try to match the background you're going to use in the poster with the background here. And you can use definitely RGB colors. So you can have here, you have HSV, which is mean hue, saturation, and value. And you can use RGB. So whenever, if you're working in Adobe Photoshop or InDesign or Illustrator, you can use the RGB value of your background and match it with this one. Okay, so having said that, I will get back to my black because it works better for me for the colors I already set up for this cloud. So once I've done this, now I'm going to the next level. So you can change your color scales as well, the number of pixels of your RAM. Oh, this refers to the color scale. So what it is a color scale? So when you choose one particular point cloud, you go to the scalar field, and then you can display the information of your scalar field as a legend. So for example, you choose here intensity, but you want to know what means this is the histogram, but you want to explain or show it in a legend. It's very easy. You just go to display, active the scalar field, and toggle the scalar field layer. So the legend appears here. Or for example, if you calculate the height as a coordinate set, so I've showed this in another videos how to do. So let's imagine you go Tools, Edit, Scalar Field, Export Coordinate to Scalar Field, and I want to export the set coordinate. Just click OK, and as you can see here, it shows you the height of each point. You have here the legend. So this legend will appear in your visualizations. Okay. If you don't want the legend, you just have to simply toggle Control C. So Control C. Oh, I don't know what happened. Okay, Control C. Now it's not working. Now Shift C. Shift C appears the legend. Shift C disappears. Okay. So let's keep it there. Once we have done this, and you are displaying, this is exactly how it will be displayed, and you will save it. Before that, I want to show other very interesting display options tweaks. The other options you have here is the camera setup. So you can set up the angle that you want for your camera in the X, in the other Y and Z. And you can also choose the rotation center here, but you can also set up directly manually. I will show you how to do that. And more importantly is the field of view. So you imagine you choose this one, you can always return to the basic ones. Okay, once you have done this, you can set up your field of view. So the normal field of view by human eye is around 45 degrees, 50 degrees. The higher it is, this number, let's say 90 degrees, the more the effect of perspective you will have. But the smaller is the number or the degrees, the more like isometric, isonometric or axonometric view like you will have. So let's imagine keeping it 30 degrees, and then so it will be more like axonometric. You will have less distortion of a third point of perspective. So 30 degrees, 25 degrees, good for an axonometric view, isometric view, and more than 50 degrees is normal eye view. 75, 90 will be a perspective-like view. Okay, then this is 1:1. This is basically the ratio of the global zoom. Then we have the peak rotation points. Okay, so your rotation point now is randomly selected here in the air, but you can pick and choose, let's imagine this corner. So now your rotation is around that corner, or you can set it automatically, auto pick up the point in the middle of the screen, or just simply select this point and then will be there in the middle. Okay, you can choose whatever. If your point of interest is this corner, you want to rotate around this area, you can select. And then you have these other options of the views of the current, if you want an orthographic projection or object center perspective, look how it's changed. Or you have a viewer-based perspective, depending on what you want to do. I will put it in the orthographic representation projection because this is very helpful to manipulate the point clouds. Then you can also make appear the always visible, the rotation axis, or only visible the rotation when you are just rotating it, or simply it's invisible all the time. Now you have soon when you lose your point cloud, or the point clouds are sometimes translated wrongly in two different locations, you just choose the layers you want to have in the zoom, and then you click on this icon, and then the icon will bring you to the zoom icon, the magnifier. It will bring you to, it will locate automatically the point clouds for you. So once we have covered that, in the display, there are other options here to adjust zooms and the number of pixels. Every time you rotate your scroll, it will be this number of pixels or units as a zoom. So you see my zoom is very smooth, but some others will like to move or more faster, so you can change that. The other interesting here options you can check, like toolbars, languages, etc. But the most important I have been covered. And in another video, I show how to generate or save, create animations. For that, you use the save viewport as objects, and you save different viewports, and then you will animate or create frames between viewports. So this is the bubble view. You can exit the bubble view. You can also show the cursor coordinates at the bottom. And you can also here go to the lock the rotation axis. So as you can see, I lock it and I just rotate around that point. So these are other options. Now, once we finish with this, now it's time to save this display for, let's say, a visual representation or whatever. So you can change the size of this and the proportion and the ratio. It will be saved like this. Or if you show the whole thing, it will be saved like that. Or if you display it in the full screen, it will be displayed like that. or you can put the only the 3D view in full screen and it will be saved like this. So there are different options here. So let's go to the simple display. So you change here your aspect ratio, it will be affect also your image. Okay. We go to the display and then put render to file. And then here we have different options. First, you can choose the different type of files, JPEGs, PNGs, TIFFs, etc. And the BMP will be much, for example, higher accuracy and resolution, but it will be very heavy. The JPEG is lighter. You have TIFFs as well, and it depends on what you want. We can go to JPEG and put model 1 and just save. And then once we have done this, you have here the result. So you have an idea of the number of pixels. Keep it like zoom 1 and let's see how it works. And don't select anything now. Okay, so we go here to the display and this is the model 1. So exactly as it looks, it will be displayed. You see the bar, you see the legend, sorry. You see here the points, all good. Now let's remove the EDL and now save again. Display, render. And now we're gonna put 1B to notice the difference. Okay, so we go here, 1B. So you see the EDL is not appearing anymore, and if you zoom, the resolution is not very good. Why is it not like this? Sorry. So you see it's pixelated as you zoom in, and you notice now the difference between one method and another method. Okay, so that's important. Now we can go and do something different, which is turn the EDL on, render to file, and then we go to zoom 3 times. So you see the pixels increases, and then we call it 2. So the number 2 now is much higher the resolution. You can zoom in, but it's still quite big the sizes of the points, and you see here the legend. Now what we can do is turn on the don't scale features and render overlay items. The items are the scale and the trihedron, which is this axis. And these features include the point sizes, not the scale, the line thicknesses, and the text. So when we do this, we put B. So you will notice the difference. It's much bigger. And now you see the points completely different. The sizes of the legends are also different. So if you love this or you like this representation of the points, but you don't like the legend, what I will do is I will save 2 images exactly like this. One with the right size of the points and the other one with the right size of the legend and perhaps the scale bar. So let's go here. Zoom, you see the points. Now let's go to the other one and now zoom again and you see the points. You see the gaps in between. So what we can do is maybe choose a middle point. I like the zoom. I will call it this 3C. I will save. Oh, sorry. Before doing that, I will increase the size of the point a little bit. Now I will go and render it as 2C and keep the rest as it is. So now how it is, look, this is the right size of the point I prefer. Not too big, not too small. And I have the legend, but the legend here is the correct one. So you can crop it and use the legend, and then you can crop this and use the point clouds, and they look as they want, as I want. Now, if you change the scalar field, for example, to the RGB, see the legend disappear. And now you can, if you render again, tools, display render, and you render again, and we will call it this 3. And I don't want to scale again or rescale, whatever, and or like that. Just put OK. So now in the number 3, you will have the bar in the right size, the rest in the right side. See, it was selected the box, and it appears the box, which is ugly. So let's deselect it, and now render again. So whatever appears in your interface will be rendered. Say OK. Now let's go to the tree. And have you have it? Look, disappeared the box. Now let's render again. And then put don't scale. And we'll call it this 3D. Okay. So that's it. You have higher accuracy, the level of the points, as you can see, good resolution. The bar is small, but you have the other bar that tells you, gives you the right size. So you notice here the differences. So in the previous option, you have a bit exaggerated the sizes of the points. In this one, I have a better size of points, so it's much more, let's say, define the shape. This is a bit exaggerated. But the bar is a different size, so if you want the bar with the right size, you just simply export both options and then you play with them. As you can see, depending on what you want, you just play with the size of the point, and if you want to scale it or not, items. You can create beautiful representations with this, and then you can crop all of this. So if you bring this into Adobe Photoshop, where is Adobe Photoshop? Here, and you want to disappear the background, just grab the layer, and we're gonna we go here, and all the black points will disappear. As you can see, you will create there, and then you can overlay this on top of something if you want, or simply keep it as it is, and then you use this tool to delete all that black part. Then you keep the middle part, and then so you can create a you can crop it or save as PNG, and you can save the PNG and put non-interlace. Okay, so when you open, you can open the PNG. Where is saved? It's not saved. I save it anywhere else, somewhere else. Oh, the save is still happening. That's why. I'm sorry for that. It's very big. So then the PNG is here. So as you can see, the PNG is there. So we can add this to any, let's say, file, new file. Okay, and this new file, I want to have a gradient. I don't know. I'm too dramatic here with the gradient. Okay, so let's imagine this is my gradient, and then I paste here, so it's in PNG. As you can see, the background disappear, and then I can change the levels and then edit the scale and edit the diagram. And I can always go to my background and then say, for example, is this color to the other color, and the other one at the bottom will be more bluish, dark bluish. So let's see how it works. Okay, like that. So let's imagine this is your poster, and then you want to create this. You can create the background in anyway in CloudCompare, but the difference here is that you can have a stack, for example. Let me create something. Oh, sorry, like let's imagine you have several of these images, and then you stack them one on top of each other. So you can align them. Okay, so that's an option you have. just saving in a very high resolution, deleting the background, and then saving as a PNG, and then you can edit them easily. Because in this case, I preserve the interior part black, but you have multiple options if you want to do it. It's more Photoshop work. So I hope in this way you learn new skills on how to export different visualizations with different bars and size of the legend, and the scale bars, etc. Okay. I think I cover most of the displays and visualizations. Um, Remember that whatever you display in the viewport is how it will be exported. Whatever is the aspect ratio you choose, it will be exported. And so here you see the new size. Look, it's telling you it's 1000, well, 1000 pixels, or if you want 1500 pixels. So have a look at this information. Will give you a lot of ideas. Um, it's I think a very useful way to um, to represent different or create different axonometric views and perspectives. So I hope this has been very useful, and see you next time.